What's up, everyone? If you go to the suggested balance changes for Marvel by FGTV, and if you scroll down to Chris, they basically give him two things. They give him one nerf and one buff, but as it stands right now, it feels like an overall nerf to Chris. I guess the ability of canceling his grenade launcher super makes it makes it a little bit safer in most cases. And it's a way of giving him just the ability to use meter in a safe way and giving him I guess a mix up, the ability to mix up with the grenade that he shoots up in the air that comes back down. I don't know, giving Chris a mix up isn't really his identity. It's not really a Chris thing to do because he's not really a mix up character. I know there was one commenter who suggested giving an overhead to him with his stun baton. But I don't know. I don't think making him a mix-up character would help all that much. He's more of a zoner. He's more of a chipper. He's more of a full-screen brawler type character. So giving him something to that effect would probably be better for his identity. And of course the nerf is I really don't feel like the nerf is all that necessary. As it stands right now, the only way for Chris to combo into a flamethrower solo is with ground bounces, and you only get one ground bounce per combo. So what you end up having to do is building a team around Chris and getting really good synergy and getting really good assists. And I feel like if you do that, if you commit to that, you probably should be able to get, upwards of 3, 4, 5 flamethrowers per combo. Flamethrower does do a lot of damage though, and it does give a lot of meter and does do a lot of chip, but there's a lot of attacks that do the exact same thing. I know Phoenix Wright's, he has like this walking OTG that does pretty much the same thing. Virgil's washing machine command is pretty much the same way as well. And I'm sure other characters have something to that effect too. Maybe one of Dante's attacks. But it's not really a really broken thing about Chris. People aren't really flocking to play Chris just so that they can do flamethrower. So I really don't feel like that deserves a nerf. And it's a little bit weirder that these suggestions were given by GC Yoshi, who is a really good Chris player. So he should know that Chris is more of an underwhelming character when you compare him to everyone else. And it feels like he should be buffed more than nerfed. So it's a little bit weird that he would suggest these things, because these were not suggested by FChamp, Shady, or Magus. They really don't know how to balance Chris at all, and you can tell they don't know, because FChamp will call a character boring if he doesn't know how to nerf or buff them.
Let's not do Chris yet. I think like that's kind of boring.
All right, you want to do a good character like Virgil?
So how do you balance Chris? I feel like I could take the flamethrower nerf if they gave Chris something that he really truly needed, and that's anti-air. Because there's a lot of characters out there that aren't even considered zoning characters that have much better anti-air capabilities than Chris. Like if you look at Dr. Doom with his hidden missiles, or Nova with his energy javelin, or even Strider with his Vajra. It just feels weird that Chris can't even compete with that type of anti-air. So basically any character that likes to operate above Magnum height, Chris has a really hard time dealing with. Like say Morgan or Trish, who like to super jump and spam projectiles, or even characters that just like to do regular jumps and like to operate from there, like Virgil or Spider-Man or Zero. Chris has no way of dealing with any of that. And it makes no sense that there are characters who can aim their arrows upwards, like Taskmaster and Hawkeye, but Chris can't aim his guns upward. It makes no sense. Like, why is it like that? The guys at FGTV were trying to fix this problem. They were trying to get to the root of this problem, and they kind of suggested maybe giving Chris a airborne horizontal machine gun shot. The problem with that is you really don't want Chris super jumping all that much, and that's really the only case where that would be useful. Because anytime Chris super jumps, if a character teleports on you while he's doing that, Chris is basically screwed. So I would avoid anything that requires Chris being airborne for. So my suggestion would be to give Chris something that he can do on the ground. And the most obvious fix for that would be to give him the ability to tilt his gunshots upward. There is one inherent problem with that, in that you really don't want Chris to be able to nail super jumping characters. Like, say if Morgan was throwing out fireballs, he can essentially magnum through the fireball, getting a wall bounce and the hard knockdown on that Morgan player at super jump height. That would be beyond broken. That would be so incredibly godlike. They would never do that. But being able to tilt his machine gun and his shotgun would be really beneficial for him, and I don't even think it would be all that broken. It would help, but it wouldn't be too powerful. Mainly because the shotgun has such short range. It does have a lot of hit stun, but there's really no way for Chris to confirm off of him without a really, really specific assist. You can't confirm into a hyper either. And machine gun has a lot of range, but it's also the same thing. The hit stun isn't that much. You can't confirm into a hyper, and you can't confirm into a combo unless you have really specific assists. It would mainly be to contest projectiles coming from that angle. That's really the only problem Chris has, and I think it would help him out a lot. There is one issue with this, in that when used in conjunction with certain assists, mainly Vajra, it does seem a little powerful, being able to confirm into Vajras. I don't know, it seems a little bit too strong. But I do have another idea, in that you can probably give Chris a 4th gunshot. Right now he has the 3 light, medium, heavy. Quarter circle 4, light, medium, heavy for shotgun, machine gun, and magnum. You can give him a 4th one, maybe a sniper rifle, and with that gun you can tilt it upwards or anywhere and be able to hit characters up in the air. But you maybe make it comparable to the magnum in terms of power and in terms of damage and durability. But maybe not give it a hard knockdown or even a soft knockdown. Just give it a pretty decent amount of hit stun. And give it also enough startup animation and enough cooldown animation so that you can't really confirm into anything crazy. And I think that would probably be also a really good idea as well. Another thing you can give him is maybe something like, say, the mortar a la Snake from Super Smash Bros. Brawl. That could be a possibility. Or maybe give Chris the ability to throw his grenades high up into the air. That could also be a possibility, and I don't think that would be too broken. I don't know how the fire one would work, though. The fire one the flames would have to maybe rain down onto the ground, but maybe not last as long, something like that. But that's also another idea I had. But really, he doesn't even need anything even that complicated. Like, even something as basic as a gunshot, like his crouching heavy or forward medium, but slanted upwards into the air, that would help out just as much, because you can, special cancel into magnum. Maybe using an assist, you can confirm them, or special cancel into any of his grenades or anything like that. That would help out a lot more than people would probably think, and it would definitely not be at all broken. So yeah, those are my ideas for potential balance fixes for Chris if there ever were to be another patch, and there probably won't be. But yeah, they seem consistent with what Chris actually is. Immobile, relying on guns, relying on zoning. If it's feels exactly like what Chris should be. And you can make him better by giving him better mobility, giving him an air dash, giving him a double jump, but it just doesn't feel like Chris. So yeah, but yeah, let me know if any of you guys have any ideas for potential balance fixes. I'd like to see them and see if you have any better ideas. That'd probably be pretty cool seeing if anyone has any better ideas. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this reply video, I guess I could call it, and I'll catch you guys next time when I do something else. Until then, peace.